So, how do we wrestle them toward compassion, justice, equality, and a basis in reason, fair, and something analysis, as opposed to demagoguery, unrestrained profit, and despair and disengagement of citizens? I know it's a big question. Hope you're okay. Well, no, I'm not okay. I don't even know what I'm just reading. Okay, so.
May I clarify? I'm really sorry. I was trying to say something halfway intelligible. I guess I was just trying to ask, we're talking about all of this in the context of the age of Trump. It seems to me we need to figure out some way to get our local governments and our state governments to work towards preventing the very worst of what Trump promised again and again and again. And I guess that's what I was trying to get at. I'm sorry I was so pretentious and long-winded.
Yes, you were quite pretentious, but we're gonna be okay with that. You all also know that I'm a stage person, so please know that I'm just teasing you. And actually, quite frankly, your comment was so long, I've forgotten the question. So I'm gonna ask Dion to come up and make her statement, and then the panel will be answering your question.
I just want to provide an additional perspective to the Black Lives Matter versus police and give you all something to think about. If we're here for the purpose of being unified and moving beyond, to say that I can't support a police officer who puts his life on the line every day, I personally think we need to consider whether or not that's inhumane. Because there are sacrifices that they're making. And to say that one bad apple or 5 bad apples are what we determine to be the entire police force, we have to really think about that. As a black person, I don't want to be judged for what someone else does who doesn't represent me. But what I do expect, and we've kind of talked about that, is to have the ability for those police officers who are doing well to be able to say, there are some rogue people and we need them addressed. So I expect that. I wouldn't say and so I use this analogy a lot when I talk about Black Lives Matter. If I say that I support breast cancer, does that mean I can't support children's cancer? Absolutely not. So why are we having a discussion about making it an either-or dichotomy? If we were looking at anything else, we would not say you can't do this and you can't do that. We would say, hey, let's support children's cancer because it's Children's Cancer Month. It's an issue that impacts lots of people. Police officers dying affects people. Black lives impact lots of people. But what I do want us to think about when we think about Black Lives Matter, the reason that there is an emphasis on it is because of what you all have talked about today. The disproportionate amounts of brutality, the inhumane brutality. These individuals who, yes, they're doing criminal activities, but if we look at the systems that have been put in place that prohibited them, in many cases, from having honest employment, they did what they needed to do to support their families. And in some cases, they did nothing wrong, had permits to carry, and were still gunned down. So that's why we talk about Black Lives Matter. But I believe
we are going to, at the risk of being rude, thank you, Dr. King. You have a question about, I'm not sure what your question was, but I'm sure the panel did. And they're going to talk to that in just a moment. We want Peter Sharp to say something about his program. Peter, come up. And then we have
I'm not going to say anything long. I thought I was just going to stand up and wave. My name is Peter Shark. I'm starting Standing Up for Racial Justice chapter here in Pensacola. It is a chapter that has 2 basic ideas. 1, to work within the white community for racial justice, and 2, to support people of color-led efforts for racial justice. If you're interested in that, please email me. The email is PensacolaSurge, S-U-R-J, @gmail.com. I'll write it on the board over here. Thanks.
Okay, so go ahead and make your comment.
Okay, I just wanted to piggyback on what Chief Police Person David Alexander III said, and also what Robert said, is that, you made mention of politics aren't going to get us there, and what is going to get us there is spiritual transformation. So that's where we have to go with all of this. Politics will never get us there because people that are forced to do things, it's not getting into the heart. So what we are all trying to do is spiritually transform ourselves, all of us.
Okay, so I think what we've heard is spiritual transformation is certainly one route. We're going to end with the question from over here, and I went over to say, what is it that you're talking about? And he said he wants to know how post-Trump we can move toward working in the political system without all the cynicism. How do we work together toward change?
Well, one of the key issues to any type of community engagement, you got to realize that when I hear people say a lot of times, I only want to address one part of it. Okay, and that's like, having a problem, a medical problem that's attacking the entire body. So there needs to be a holistic approach to it, which means it takes more time. You have to think. You have to wrestle with your own feelings and therefore. But when you say post-Trump, one of the things I'd like to challenge people to do, first of all, let's take the President of the United States out of this quotient right here. Because one man is not going to change what we're dealing with right here.
That's right.
You, in this room, can ignite something that a president or any other world leader cannot control. Sometimes we put power in people's hands that are just as or more powerless than the people that lead. Gotta start thinking along the lines of how do we get where we are? You know how? Because we have to find a side to choose. And that's why I said it'll be hard for you to support or to justify one against the other, because first of all, you can't control what everybody in Black Lives Matter is gonna do. You can't control what everyone in Police Lives Matter is gonna do and say. You can't control it. So even in the greatest intentions, you're gonna find yourself encountering a lot of scrutiny that's not necessary. And that's why I say, take it out of the political arena. Let's start dealing with how are we interacting with each other every day. Does it offend you when someone says, like Grace mentioned about undocumented? Are you going to let somebody stand in front of you and refer to someone as an undocumented immigrant and make that be a negative connotation? What are you going to do the next time you hear something, whether you're black, white, or any other race in this country? What are you going to do when you hear somebody that looks like you said something that you know is hurting race relations in this country? What are you going to personally do about it?
I think that he echoes what the Southern Poverty Law Center says, and that is to speak up every time in the moment, educate and echo and ally. You all have been a great audience this evening. We are stopping almost on time. So if you want to continue with the conversation, we're going to end. Julie, you have one comment?
Quick announcement. I think we're going to have the community barbecue in January rather than December, since December is so busy. So look for a notice about a January barbecue.
And thanks again to Julie Patton for all the work and effort she put into this. Thank you to the University of West Florida's Social Work Department, Bill Kaplinger, and I'm sorry,
James Gunn.
yes. And I love his shirt and I might have to steal it. CJ, all right, you all have a good evening.